Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel, Gardening in Cold Spring Harbor. Welcome back to my home. Welcome back to Long Island, New York, Zone 7A. The month of February is finally here. Today is February 1st, 2024. And I must admit that February just happens to be one of my favorite months out of the entire year. Why? Because February is the month where we can finally sow and grow majority of our spring crops from seeds. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you not one, not five, not even 10, but 25 crops which you must sow and grow from seed now in the month of February. So for those of you looking for that online gardening channel, which offers tips, tricks, easy yet proven gardening advice to take your home gardens to that next level, don't go anywhere. Stick with me today. Start with going below this video and clicking the subscribe button. If you are enjoying the content of my garden videos and want YouTube to send you notifications every single time I'll upload a new garden video, click the bell icon as well. Now come with me. Let's get gardening. The first crop you must sow and grow from seed in the month of February if you're not already growing it in your home garden. And that is our kale. Kale is extremely cold hardy, all the way down to 20 degrees Fahrenheit. In fact, kale can even tolerate frost. You might see the leaves of kale shrivel up just a bit when it's snowing or when there's heavy freeze, but that is absolutely fine. I have my kale growing right here in this raised garden bed, and as you could see, it is looking absolutely stunningly beautiful and has been here since fall. And we had some hard frosts and freezes, and my kale is absolutely fine. And I'm going to start more kale from seed within the next few days. I will start it indoors as soon as it sprouts. I will transplant it right over here in my raised bed garden. So what is that next crop which you must sow and grow now in the month of February? Are our alliums, onions, leeks, and bunching onions. What kind of onions can we grow? We can grow Walla Walla onions, Spanish onions, white onions, red onions, and it's super easy to grow them from seed. You start them inside, indoors, in seed starting trays, and once they sprout and you thin them, you're ready to transplant them right into your home garden. You can also grow bunching onions, which we grow for the green foliage, not for the bulb. You can also grow shallots, and it's super cheap and super easy to grow our onions and our allium family from seed. Leek is another great crop to grow. You also start it inside, indoors, and then you transplant it. When you're transplanting leek, make sure you plant it at least 6 inches below the soil level, and make sure you space it 6 to 8 inches apart. What is that next crop which you must sow and grow from seed in the month of February? And that is Swiss chard. Swiss chard is very cold tolerant. It tolerates temperatures all the way down to 15 degrees Fahrenheit. And you could start harvesting as soon as you see the first set of true leaves. And the great thing about this crop is that the more you cut or pinch, the more growth you're going to see. The next crop are our collard greens, which are even more cold hardy than kale or Swiss chard. Collard greens can tolerate temperatures as low as 5 degrees Fahrenheit. They are very cold hardy and frost resistant. Great crop to start growing now in the late winter season. What is that next crop we must start sowing and growing from seed in the month of February? And those are our peas, snap peas, early peas, sugar peas. Let me show you an example of how cold hardy peas are. I have peas growing right over here. And you know what the crazy part about this whole situation is that I planted them in the fall. I had some spare pea seeds left over, and I just popped them in, and then the frost came, and I thought that that would be it for my peas. But guess what? Look at this. They're bouncing right back, and they're actually getting much, much taller. So as the temperatures start to warm up, I actually think that I will be able to continue growing this set of pea crops, and we'll get to harvest them in the spring. Peas are such an amazing crop to grow, especially for beginner gardeners. Even children can grow peas. So if you are a beginner gardener, I highly recommend that you try growing your own peas. They germinate very, very quickly in as little as 3 days. And in about 1 week, your seedling will be large enough, tall enough for you to transplant into your garden. Or you can directly sow your pea seeds into the soil of your home garden as well. Now let's move on to some cold hardy herbs, which you must sow and grow now in the month of February. What is that first herb which you must sow and grow now in the month of February from seed? And that is our rosemary. I have some rosemary still growing right over here from previous year's spring season. It withstood the freeze, the frost, the snow, you name it. It took a little beating right over here, you could see on the foliage, but overall, I harvest this rosemary. If not 3 times a week, then for sure twice a week. You could see exactly where I make the cuts, and I've been harvesting this rosemary, and it's been growing back for me. In fact, rosemary, the more you cut, the more it's going to grow. Now come with me, let me show you the next herb. The next cold hardy herb that you must sow and grow from seed in the month of February is our parsley. This parsley I also started from seed last spring of 2023. And you could see that yes, some foliage is going yellow because of the temperatures of the freezing temperature, but majority of the foliage is still beautiful green color. Parsley is very, very cold hardy herb. It will withstand frosts and freezes. I'm going to start my next set of parsley for this spring season right over here in this raised garden bed. What is the next cold hardy herb? And that is our sage. Look at this beautiful sage, all the new growth. I also started this sage from seed last spring of 2023. Yes, some of the leaves have taken a hard beating because of the temperatures, but majority of the sage is doing great. Look at all this beautiful new leaf growth. And it's such an aromatic, such fragrant, delicious herb to grow. The next herb, which you must sow and grow now in the month of February from seed, and that is cilantro or coriander. I know that many out there say, oh, cilantro needs warm temperatures. You cannot sow and grow cilantro in February. I have no idea where they're getting that from. Cilantro is cold weather tolerant. In fact, with the warm or hot temperatures, what will happen is it will bolt, flower, and go to coriander. So you should, in fact, you must sow and grow cilantro now in the month of February. You could start it inside indoors in seed starting trays or even in a container. And once your seedlings are tall enough, you can transplant it right out into your home garden. What is that next crop you must sow and grow now in the month of February? That is our lettuce. Lettuce is absolutely healthy and delicious and sweet. And lettuce is a cold hardy crop which must be sown and grown as early as late winter. The trick to growing lettuce, delicious, crunchy, sweet lettuce, is to sow it from fresh seeds. Lettuce seeds do have, less germination rate when they're not new, not fresh. So always try to grow from fresh, new lettuce seeds. What is our next crop? And that is spinach. Spinach is so healthy, so delicious, and can be used in so many dishes. Spinach, just as our lettuce, is a very cold hardy crop, which must be sown and grown now in the month of February. What is that next crop that we must sow and grow now in the month of February? That is our artichoke. Artichoke is a perennial in zones 7 through 10. So we must sow and grow it now, inside, indoors, in seed starting trays, and then transplant it into our home garden. The thing about perennial crops is that their root system is their lifeline. So the sooner we start our artichoke from seed, the stronger that transplant will be, the stronger the root system will be. And if you want to harvest artichoke that same year, you must start it as early as late winter. What is that next crop? Is asparagus. Asparagus is cold hardy and is a perennial in zones 3 through 10. Just as with our artichoke, asparagus must be started now, late winter, because it does need that extra time to germinate, to grow a stronger root system, and to be strong enough, large enough, and healthy enough, just in time for you transplanting into your home garden. What is the next crop you must sow and grow now in the month of February? Is lemongrass. Lemongrass is such an aromatic and delicious crop, and it is widely used in cuisines. So if you enjoy consuming lemongrass, then the time to sow and grow it is now in the month of February. Moving right along, what is that next set of crops which we must sow and grow now in the month of February if you haven't already sown them last month in the month of January? And that is our brassicas. We have our broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts. I know that many of us are very finicky about Brussels sprouts, but if you love eating them, if you love cooking with them, if you love the flavor of them, February is the time to start sowing and growing them. The thing about the brassica crops is that they will bolt and go to flower when the temperatures get above 60 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit. We must sow them now in the late winter, inside, indoors, in seed starting trays. And towards the end of February is exactly when I transplant my mature brassica seedlings outside into my home gardens. I already started my cabbage, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, as well as broccoli and cabbage in the month of January. In fact, I already transplanted the first set of seedlings into larger containers, and this past week I started my second set of brassicas. I planted more cabbage, more broccoli, more cauliflower, and more Brussels sprouts in a second seed starting tray inside, indoors, in my green room. So if you haven't already sowed them in the month of January, now in the month of February is the time. In fact, you should do it in the beginning of February, so your seedlings will have that enough time to get strong enough for you to transplant them into your home garden towards the end of this month or beginning of March. When it comes to brassicas, they're so cold hardy and frost tolerant that as soon as those night temperatures go above freezing, you can transplant them right out into your home garden. Let's get into the root vegetables, the root crops, which you must sow and grow now in the month of February. The first crop is radish. The second crop are our beets. And the third crop are our carrots. All three of them are root vegetables, so they will not tolerate any sort of transplant. You must sow and grow carrots, beets, and radish directly into the soil of your home garden. And radish, you can harvest as soon as 3 weeks after you plant the seed. Carrots can be a bit finicky and tricky to grow, as they do require specific condition for germination and for growth. I have a video on my gardening channel, Gardening Cold Spring Harbor, where I give you step-by-step instructions how you can grow carrot from seed to harvest in your own home garden. And if you're interested, check out that video as well. What is that next crop which we must sow and grow in our home gardens now in the month of February? And those are our flowers. Those flowers which take quite a bit of time to germinate and to grow. An example of those two flowers are our marigolds, which do take at least 50 days. Another example are snapdragons. They take anywhere between 90 to 100 days from seeding to bloom. Another example are pansies. They are the staple of cooler seasons. However, they take their precious time to germinate and to grow. So start those flowers inside, indoors, and seed starting trays, which you know take quite a while to sprout and to grow. Celery is yet another great, delicious, healthy crop, which we must sow and grow from seed now in the month of February. Why now? Because celery takes anywhere between 110 to 120 days from seed to harvest. So if you want to try growing celery in your home garden, you must sow and grow it from seed now in the month of February. What else can we start sowing and growing now? Some of our summer crops, such as our tomatoes, our peppers, and our eggplants. Why? Because those will take their precious time to sprout, to germinate, and to grow. So what are the crops? Warm weather crops, which we must not sow and grow now. Those are our quick, fast growing crops, such as our cucumbers, our beans, or even our zucchini. Those crops sprout, germinate, and grow in as little as 5 days, and they're ready to transplant in as little as a week. So those fast growing crops, we must wait until further on in the season to sow and grow them. So the caveat here is knowing your last anticipated frost date. If you live in an area which still has very, very cold temperatures and has very delayed or late last anticipated frost date, then wait. Don't start any of these crops now. It's okay to wait plus or minus 2 to 3 weeks, because you never want to end up with a bunch of overgrown seedlings inside your home as well. Because by starting them too early, you're going to hurt them in the long run as well. You're going to stunt their growth because they're going to be too big, too overgrown. So wait, it's okay to wait. You can wait till the end of February or beginning of March to start sowing and growing these crops if you live in the northern regions. Now, this is it for this video, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me here in my home in Long Island, New York, Zone 7A. In today's video, I shared with you not 5, not 10, over 25 crops which you must sow and grow now in the month of February from seeds. If you found the content of today's video to be useful, helpful, informative, and absolutely anyway, show me that support by clicking thumbs up below. Leave your comments in the comment section as well. Let me know what crops you started sowing and growing in the month of January. What crops are you planning to start sowing and growing now in the month of February 2024? If you haven't yet subscribed to my gardening channel, Gardening Cold Spring Harbor, what are you waiting for, guys? Super easy for you to do, super pleasing and rewarding to me, knowing that you guys enjoy watching my gardening videos, that you find the content of my gardening videos to be useful, helpful, and informative in your own home garden. Be healthy, happy, be well, each and every single one of you. And happy gardening, guys, and I'll see you again in my new upcoming gardening videos. Bye, guys.